Hello everyone, welcome back. This is lecture 2, class 9th, subject English, and this is the continuation lecture of chapter number 6 of Beehive, that is My Childhood. In this lecture, we will discuss the explanation, a brief summary of the chapter, then the aptness of the title and the message conveyed through this chapter. Then we will have a look on the new words of this chapter and the chapter highlights, and then we will discuss the homework solutions related to the textual questions of this chapter. Now let's start of this chapter. APJ Abdul Kalam was born into a Muslim family that was middle class. Furthermore, he had 3 brothers. Moreover, Kalam also had one sister. Furthermore, his father and mother were both of good nature. Moreover, Kalam's childhood was ancestral. The father of APJ Abdul Kalam lived a life that one can say was very simple. Nevertheless, his father made all the necessities available to his children. Furthermore, his parents did not have any education and they were also not rich. So, APJ Abdul Kalam and his family lived a simple life, and his father was against in providing all the luxuries. Instead, he believed in providing only the necessities, that is, the essential items to his children like food, shelter, cloth. APJ's mother's name was Ashiyama. She used to help his father. She was a great support and help to him. APJ's mother was also generous and kind-hearted. Every day she used to feed a lot of people. She fed a greater number of people from outside than the total number of the members in their family. So his mother was a kind-hearted, caring, and was a great support and help to his father. She was generous and kind-hearted, and she used to feed lot of people from outside, like poor people, those who are not able to afford their living. She used to feed such a large number of people daily in her house. APJ was 8 years old when the Second World War broke in the year 1939. The demand for tamarind seeds increased in the market. APJ used to collect and sell the tamarind seeds to a provision shop located on Mosque Street. He would earn a mere sum of 1 anna, which equals 6 paise. So, when he was just 8 years old, the Second World War broke out, and that resulted in the increased demand for tamarind seeds. And APJ used to collect and sell those seeds, for which he would earn a mere sum of 1 anna, which equals 6 paise. APJ Abdul Kalam's brother-in-law Jalaluddin used to tell him the stories of the ongoing World War. Later, APJ used to read the newspaper Dinamani and used to look for the news of the same stories. The first impact of World War II on the people of Rameshwaram was the cancellation of the train stoppage at the Rameshwaram station. APJ Abdul Kalam's cousin Samsuddin used to distribute the newspapers in Rameshwaram. As the train stoppage was cancelled and the newspaper bundle was thrown out of the moving train, he needed someone to help him catch it. APJ helped Samsuddin by catching the bundle and distributing the newspapers. In return, Samsuddin paid him a salary which was APJ's first earning. So in this manner he earned his first salary by helping his cousin Samsuddin in distributing the newspapers. Kalam's family was secular in nature. His family gave an equal amount of respect to all the religions. Furthermore, there was participation from his family in Hindu festivals. Moreover, Kalam heard stories of the Prophet and Ramayana from his grandmother and mother. All of this clearly shows the secularism present in his family. Though he was Muslim, but he gave an equal respect to all the religions and were also interested in hearing stories related to the gods and goddesses of other religions. Friendship was influential in Kalam's childhood. Abdul Kalam had three best friends during his childhood. Their names are Ramananda Shastri, Arvindan and Shiv Prakashan. All of them belonged to very strict Hindu Brahmin families and were ardent followers of their religion. As APJ was from a Muslim family, he says that during his childhood, all the children were so close to each other that they never felt they belonged to different religions. Religion was not a barrier in their friendship. There is a very famous temple in Rameshwaram, the Rameshwaram temple. APJ's best friend Ramananda Shastri was the son of Pakshi Lakshman Shastri, the priest of this temple. When these three friends grew up, Ramananda Shastri took the priesthood of the Rameshwaram temple. Arvindan started a business of transporting the pilgrims to and from the Rameshwaram temple, and Shiv Prakashan became a catering contractor for the Southern Railway. He was in charge of the catering for the railways. In 5th standard, a new teacher came to the class of Kalam. In class, Kalam was wearing a cap. This cap certainly gave Kalam a distinct Muslim identity. Moreover, Kalam always sat near Ramananda, a Hindu priest's son. This new teacher could not tolerate that a Hindu priest's son was sitting next to a Muslim boy. He told APJ to go and sit on the last bench as he belonged to a lower rank of the society. Both the children felt very bad when APJ changed his seat and went back and sat on the last bench. Ramananda felt very bad. APJ still remembers the image of his friend Ramananda crying. It left a lifelong impression on Kalam of his friend's feelings for him. So this incident left an everlasting impact on his mind that their friendship had no barrier of religion, and thus his friends are so close to Abdul Kalam that they cannot tolerate any kind of partiality done with Abdul Kalam. Furthermore, Ramananda's father met with the teacher to inform him not to spread the social inequality and communal hatred. He made a demand that the apology must come. Furthermore, in case of refusal, the teacher must quit. Consequently, there was reformation of the nature of the teacher and an apology came from him. Abdul Kalam's science teacher Shiva Subramaniam Iyer was a religious person, an orthodox Brahmin, but was a rebellious type of person. He did not believe in distinction on the basis of the caste system. He worked very hard to break these social barriers. He wanted that people of different castes should interact with each other. He encouraged Abdul Kalam to work hard so that he could be at the same level as the highly educated people who lived in big cities. His teacher's wife belonged to a traditional and orthodox Brahmin family. She followed the religion very strictly, and to keep the kitchen pure, no one from an inferior religion was allowed to enter the kitchen. When Subramaniam Iyer called Abdul Kalam for dinner at his home, his wife feared that a boy from a Muslim family would make her kitchen impure. She refused to serve him food in her kitchen. Shiva Subramaniam Iyer was neither upset nor angry. He himself served food to Abdul Kalam and sat down beside him to eat. His wife stood beside the kitchen door and looked at Abdul Kalam while he was having food. So this was the kind of partiality done with Abdul Kalam for the first time when he was called by his teacher to have dinner at his home. When Abdul Kalam was about to leave his teacher's house, he invited him for dinner once again. When Shiva Subramaniam Iyer saw that Abdul Kalam was in doubt, he asked him not to be upset. He added that if he had decided to change the system to go against the norms of the society, he had to be strong and brave and confront the situation. When he visited his teacher's home for dinner the next week, his wife made him sit in the kitchen and served him food with her own hands. This is the change that happened. So in this manner, his wife's behavior was changed. Kalam's upbringing came to an end when he received permission to go Ramanathapuram for further studies after the end of Second World War and study at the district headquarters in Ramanathapuram. His father said that Abdul had to go a long way in life, just like a seagull bird which flies long distances. He calmed down Abdul Kalam's reluctant mother by quoting Gibran's poem, Your Children. He said that her children could not be dominated by her because they had their own thoughts. They did not belong to her but were a result of life's desire for itself. He asked her to give them freedom to fulfill their thoughts. Now let's see the message conveyed. My childhood gives the message that tolerance, acceptance, broad-mindedness and brotherhood are essential for an all-round growth. In order to reform social systems that are infected by prejudices of caste and status, one must be ready to confront obstacles without losing one's cool. Now let's see the chapter highlights. Abdul Kalam was born in 1931 in a Tamil family in Rameshwaram. His father Jalaluddin and mother Ashiama. His family lived in ancestral house. During World War II, he collected and sold tamarind seeds and earned for his family. He collected newspaper bundles thrown from the moving train and earned an anna per day. Learned honesty and self-discipline from his father. Learned faith in goodness and deep kindness from his mother. Childhood friends were Ramananda Shastri, Arvindan and Shiv Prakashan. Family participated in the celebration of annual Sri Sita Ram Kalyanam ceremony. Mother and grandmother narrated stories from the Ramayana and the Prophet's life. At 5th standard, a new school teacher made him sit on the back bench because of being a Muslim. The teacher was rebuked by Lakshman Shastri, father of Ramananda Shastri. Science teacher Shiv Subramaniam Iyer motivated him to grow above the social barrier. After the World War II ended, he went to headquarters in Ramanathapuram for further studies. Mother hesitant but father encouraged. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam has been selected as the 11th President of India. Read between the lines. So this was a quote said by Abdul Kalam's father. The quote is, I know you have to go, Abdul. I know you have to go away and grow. Does the seagull not fly across the sun, alone and without a rest? Son. So this was a quote said by his father. Now what is the meaning of this quote? When Abdul Kalam was ready to Ramanathapuram for further studies, His father encouraged him to continue his further studies. He convinced him through this quotation. He tried to convince not to be afraid of living alone, as there are a number of birds like seagull and animals that have to struggle and manage the things alone in the world. He followed his father's advice and touched all the heights of the world. Read between the lines too. Once his science teacher said, "Kalam, I want you to develop so that you are on par with the highly educated people of the big cities." So what does this quote mean? This means that the teacher identified Kalam's potential. He boosted him up by removing his doubts and hesitations regarding customs prevalent in the society. Now let's discuss the new words that are used in this chapter. Erstwhile, former. Innate means inborn in one's nature. Generosity of spirit, his soul sought to help others who were needy. Undistinguished, ordinary or common. Austere, simple. Secure, safe. Tamarind seeds, kind of fruit. Princely sum, generous sum. Anna, an old Indian coin. Dinamani, a Tamil daily newspaper. Isolated, lonely. Casualty, loss. Suspension, end. Halt, stop. Filled the slot, fit into a place easily. Pride, sudden increase in the feeling of satisfaction derived from one's own achievements. Inherited means a characteristic or a quality which we have got from our parents. Orthodox, strict. Could not stomach, that means could not tolerate. Downcast, sad or depressed. Summoned, called. Bluntly, speaking in a direct and honest way. Apologize, seek pardon. Quit, to leave. Conviction, a strong opinion or belief. Rigid, strict. Segregation, separation. Conservative, traditional. Rebel, in opposition. Longing, desire. Mingle, interact with each other. On par, at the same level. Perturbed, upset. Hesitation, that means he was in doubt. Confronted, faced. Imminent, about to happen. Unprecedented, never done or no before. Optimism, hope. Now let's discuss the homework solutions. First question, how does the author describe his father, his mother and himself? The author describes his father as a wise and generous person. He felt happy when he helped others. He did not have much formal education and riches. He was a man of confidence and great wisdom. His mother was a noble and kind-hearted woman. She used to feed a large number of people. She had all the attributes of a typical Indian mother. And himself, he is describing as that I was born into a middle-class Tamil family. I was a short boy with rather undistinguished looks, born to tall and handsome parents. I studied physics and aerospace engineering and became a scientist. Next question. What characteristics does he say he inherited from his parents? The author inherited humility and benevolence from his parents. He learnt lessons in honesty and integrity from his parents. He was self-disciplined because of his parents' exemplary life. Next question. Why did Abdul Kalam want to leave Rameshwaram? Abdul Kalam wanted to leave Rameshwaram to study at the district headquarters in Ramanathapuram. Next question, what did his father say to this? His father said that he knew he had to go away to grow. He gave the example of a seagull and said that a seagull flies across the sun alone and without a nest. Next question, what do you think his words mean and why do you think he spoke those words? He spoke these words because he intended to sharpen his skills. He knew the harsh reality of life, that children may have to live far from their parents to make their career and earn their livelihood. So he showed his wisdom and intelligence in uttering these words. Now your homework is that you have to read the chapter thoroughly and complete all the textual questions in your fair notebook in a proper format.